Normality. I want my old life back. I hear the chorus of the world cry. We all know why. For we've lived through 2020 in a bizarre way. Oh, to live again without hiding under the duvet or staring at 4 brick walls that are our imposed punch balls. To breathe again the outdoor air without this lockdown with rule unfair. To travel and to meet you and you without the 2-meter queue. I know I've abided by the guidelines. Do you really need to visit the Pennines? The virus has mutated, a new variant created. Soon a vaccine will come to our aid. But remember, care still needs to upgrade. A light at the end of the tunnel shines. To travel its path also needs confines. For even in ordinary times, laws and manners invade our pastimes. Be kinder and kindness will come to you. Be considerate and consideration will come to you. Then eventually normality will appear once more. How we then live it will be life's core.
No lips visible to the naked eye. No lips, but smile to reach our eyes. No lips, but muttering through gritty teeth. No lips to greet, to eat. No lips to kiss your fears away. No lips to melt the tears per se. No lips, their silence tainted, tinted tales, clammy face, breathing hell. But eyes speak truth, they cannot lie. Those eyes express each thought, each cry. So look into mine as I gaze into yours. Look to my vibration as I feel drawn. For those masks may smother liberties away, but silenced we're not, we'll have our say. If I could see, if I could do, if I could be, if I could try, if I could feel, if I could hold, if I could kiss the tear from your cheek, just one last breath, just one more look at you, just you, in all my tomorrows, my love.
I sit, silent and aslant, for near on an eon, neath the neon evergreen, my vermilion complexions warping reflection, pops upon bubbling bubble baubles. Alone I pine, and pine for the festive past, a restive fink pinned inside my post-Christmas funk. Only melancholia owns a lonelier soul here. Éclats, Jethros throw me, and a mean mien seems mine. Faint fairy lights, feeble flickers fade, forming formless figures. Lustreless luminosity resembles opacity. 'Tis tantamount to caliginosity's invisibility. Fantasy sees an unseen scene, under gloom-glum umbra's grimmer glimmers. Teepee triangular is the teary tree. He appears drear, drier, ever more sparse, less lushly spruced than in his late, elated heyday. This once phosphorescent ents, chunky trunk transmogrifies into apathy's piteous epitome. A brown bough bows, arch our arched branches. One by wizened one, minuscule pine needles wistfully wilt, hushed wisps wither, dither, hither and thither. Desiccated, discoloured, dusk-encrusted husks are discarded. Discord forges dysphoria, for those spiky spicules topple fearfully, tumble funereally, spiral finally towards a noiseless denouement. Choraled, choral carolers, erstwhile sonorousness, now sounds profoundly incongruous. Holly-berry merry greetings cards, teeter-totter, tatty, a tad tardy, rejected, dejected, subjected to sniffy indifference by the iffy diffident. Arrayed in disarray, they blush, embossed and embraced by embarrassment. Every mangled, spangled rectangle apologetically outstays its weary welcome. Each feels defeated, deflated, for fluttering to the forlorn form on a fawn floor. Muses' missives written therein are thereon, naught but naff, duff. Hitherto, bairn bonny, beribboned, dodo-dead scintillas of ripped wrapping paper, flip-flap-flop, then rest in pieces. Bent drawing pin has-beens rust in peace. Past their sellotape by date, spent smithereens, sullenly, sulk, skulk. Crumpled, cramped, crimped, trampled, rumpled remnants, crumble, crash, crushed. Emphatically, empathetically share their despair. Desultory all fall, fail, frailly flail in fission fashion. An unholy imbroglio ignominiously droops, drapes itself across a maudlin midden. How wholly hollow, haloed, hallowed celebrations, anticlimactic aftermath. Spontaneity and gaiety in honour of an inchoate deity begin to end. Alas, his story is history.
Ben turned off the engine and the lights and slowly, silently steered the van down the hill. Once his mirrors confirmed that the street behind was as deserted as it was in front, he drew to a halt outside their shabby rented house and secured the handbrake. Ben had learned the hard way that no one, not even the neighbours, could be trusted in the locality anymore. The swelling under his eyes and the purple bruising on what Cassie referred to as his best features, dark brown eyes and high angular cheekbones, were proof of that. With the agility of a cat, Ben jumped down from the vehicle to where Carrie was waiting in the shadow of the porch. Not one word passed between the young couple as they hurriedly carried their few bits and pieces from the house to the small van. The unexpected chime coming from a toy that Ben accidentally activated as he was securing his son's baby car seat reverberated like a full orchestra in the confines of the narrow street. "Shut that bloody thing up," Carrie snarled between gritted teeth. "Sorry, come on, let's get out of here." "Start the van then, I'll get the baby," Carrie whispered. Once inside the van, the couple's relief was palpable. The strained expression on Carrie's pretty young face seemed to melt away. Under different circumstances, Carrie, with her long fair hair and large expressive eyes, could have been taken for your average teenager, but Carrie already had a baby and more problems than many women twice her age. Ben had decided to take the route over the mountain, and the fine drizzle that had earlier glossed the slated terraced roofs of the valley town had turned into a downpour. The buffeting wind and sheeting rain hammering the roof of the van made conversation impossible. Even with the headlights on, Ben needed to concentrate hard to avoid driving into the water-filled ditches that lined the unmarked road. There was so much to say, to ask, but Carrie knew now was not the time. Closing her eyes, she tried to repress the trauma going on inside her head. Resentment, fear, and anger rose and then subsided. There had been a time when the thought of living without Ben, without his love, would have been unbearable. Strange how influences like debt and now the coronavirus could destroy the most powerful of emotions. The rent, the bills, the cost of everything, especially after the baby arrived, had been a cruel wake-up call for both of them. But their love for each other had survived. The crunch had come when the landlord and the money lenders turned nasty, and then Ben lost his job. How long do we have we got, Carrie asked when the rain stopped. Until it starts to get light. Okay, so once you've unloaded me and Joe and our stuff at my nan's place, you'll be taking the van and dumping it, she asked. I suppose so, Ben said. And then you'll disappear, she said bitterly. Carrie, don't keep on. You know I've got to get away from here. But what if my nan says no? She's old and she's ill. She won't. She loves you and little Joe, and she needs you now. She can't go out. But what about us, our life? This is the only way, Carrie, Ben said. I know blokes who couldn't make their payments and they're either crippled or in jail. The money lenders love it. They've got you by the balls. If you haven't got the money, you end up having to do their dirty work, scams and the like. Shit, I hate my life. This isn't how it's supposed to be, Carrie screamed. The silence that followed her outburst was suddenly broken when baby Joe started to cry. Gently placing her finger on her son's tiny fist, Carrie started to sing. Little man, please don't cry, 'cause Daddy has to go, 'cause we ain't got no money and there's a man knocking on the door. Don't say things like that to the kid, Ben snapped angrily. Why not? It's the truth. Anyhow, he's too young to understand. He understands loads. I don't want Joe thinking his father's a loser. Ben held his breath, desperately waiting for Cassie to contradict him. But Cassie stayed silent. What was there to say?
How does the water come down in 08? My child asked of me. It drizzles and pizzles and mizzles and grizzles. It pours and doors, lowers and glowers, slashing and sloshing, lashing and bashing, sheeting and shoving, shaling and unhaling as it drops and drips and pokes and picks. It's spitting, lake pitting, raincoat kitting, so unfitting, windscreen obscuring, old man snoring, total downpouring, drilling and brilling, filling and spilling it down, pouring and roaring, routing and spouting it down, down and around and yet more down and all around. Downpours and dampours, and dampers and dampours, picking, slicking, wicking, rolling, poling, drolling, disgorging, dismaying and destroying, dropping and dewing and brewing, then cats and dogging and floating of logs in and puddles with dogs in as it piddles and puddles and fiddles and muddles, misty, foggy, fuggy, muggy and wet. Dew and mist, fog and fug and mugginess, spitting, licking, then pissing it down, tipping it down, splashes and dances, spoiling romances, deluging of branches it down, washing it down, splurging it down, down and around, desperately, dismayingly, and dismaling it down and around and around and around some more, to never-ending, event-ending, never-again-ending, and yet more sending of heaven's opening, brolly opening, eye-opening weather, wench drenching, bloke soaking, lake slaking weather, cataracting, record facting, as no question weather. Oh, rainbow arching, storm clouds marching, dewdrops glistening, forecast listening, then rainy, painy, never wainy, drive insaney rain, real torrential, pestilential, exponential rain, water falling, raindrop brawling, breaststroke crawling rain, as the water comes down in 08 in Braithwaite, this splishing, sploshing, wish-wish washing, raincoat sloshing place, this nestled in, pestled in, sheltered and entered in place, with its switching, swatching rivers, roll rocky, hill-locky rivers, its whitesome, brownsome, flotsam, jetsam, loathsome, lovesome rivers, and the mountainous, fountainous, all braveness, enslavedness, and joyous everness of it all. Yea, Braithwaite.
This morning I stepped out the right side and actually made my bed. A shiny, sparkling, clean, hot pink Doc Martin, ready to walk the right path, unscathed by the stains of yesterday, fresh out of the box I was. But today was a stinking pile of dog shit that some middle-aged, lanky, bearded man forgot to put in the bin. To start with, my Poundland Charger. No, it was not actually mine. Right, adoptive, okay, kidnapped Charger decided to have some serious mood swings. Our bond is strong like steel. I love it as in my own blood, ran through those mains. Nearly 2 hours I spent with it, buzz, 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 charging 1 sec, then it ain't, disconnected like mother light. Strange, I hear you say. Doc Martens, dog shit and adoptive electrics. What is she on, I hear you say. Well, you smoke it in a glass pipe. White rocks disguised as pleasure turns to a habit as expensive as diamonds and cost to human life is even higher. To be specific. Okay, so he wanted me to go to the DIY store the other day. A chemical they use to cook it up called ammonia, I think. Anyway, I mean shit, best food I've ever tasted. I shake like flour in a sieve, vomit like I've eaten a gram of salt from a spoon at the vaguest thought of it. Not about to go and get a testing kit now, am I? I need to get high because I'm that caged bird. Set free, I fly through the high street, collide with passers-by without apology, hood up, barge onto the bus as if it's free, hood down. A white girl with shoulder-length hair, round red glasses, wearing a cheap T-shirt with geek printed across the front. Yeah, nah, it's not going to be bait. First lesson I learned is not to ask questions. The second lesson, money is the only incentive. What's that smell? Big men, parents, sons hanging in greylock cells, swinging and attracting flies, little girls, the smiling face. Yes, you saw her this morning. Choose not to see her on the milk carton with a cuppa, while cuppa and cornflakes set you up for your working day. Her virginity is for sale. And that little girl, she's paid in punches, kicks to the face, strangulations, or just outright robbed. Most days, drama, her life is no play, yet she is forced to act every day. Be something she ain't, cold hard, ruthless in character, broken soft, kind in heart. That's the part that must remain always unseen, buried for its own protection from everyone else. She is no different. All this, collateral damage, because they have no voices. Anyway, back to today. Guzzling posh coffee ticked from the corner shop, from a grubby, stained, stolen cup. Cross fingers, hoping the genie comes to turn it into beer. My first wish. Can't afford even the Polish cheap ones or a Beck's Blue, fucking government and their taxes. Beck's Blue, I mean, what the fuck is the point of that? Handfuls of prescription pills, some cut in two, effect stronger that way. Munch on them in a somewhat strange, stone monkey kind of way. Haven't puffed on a blunt in years, not since I turned psychotic or since spirits attacked. Doctors just don't get it, just skunk made me vulnerable. Second wish that I never touched cannabis. What the fuck is this reality thing, really? Almost choked, managed to swallow pills, plummet down to my acidic sea of a stomach, rip holes in the wall like asteroids. Haven't left the house in weeks. If it's not projectile out of my mouth, mouldy bits of last month's McDonald's embedded on my carpet, my bare feet running, curly yellow toenails, then it's the other end coming out, my body racing against itself, racing against bloody hemorrhoids. 26 years old. Too young to die, too young for this, too many chances missed, stolen by too many drugs, too many to list. Take a test. This is a test, speaking and listening. Those dreaded tapes in French lessons, school, there's always that one kid with the loud laugh that spreads, has the class in hysterics. Usually well-liked, teacher tries to tell off, but the smile still finds its way to her face. She knows it's time to adjust her syllabus, have a chat with the headmistress. Under the echoes of teenage cackles, concern creeps in. That kid, too bright, yet she's always drawn to darkness, few hands on tables and arms over mouths, residual giggles, most slouch in chairs yawning. They all hear but do not listen. Others think, what a load of shit this is. Okay, but my last wish, addicts and school kids might catch what I'm really trying to say. Can't put it bluntly, oh, too afraid. But if you're anything like me, then maybe you might catch the message. If so, please take note.
Some days your anger surfaces through your skin. Let go and feel the peace. Love comes naturally. Physical pain hurts so much. Today, breathe in and breathe out. Let your endorphins kick in. Love comes naturally. Mental health, a heavy price to pay. Write down your emotions. Don't be scared of the words you want to describe on how you feel. Love comes naturally. Self-harm, a coping tool to disguise the other pain. Bring forward your heart, find nature, love yourself. Love comes naturally. Death is a killer, and it hurts when your loved one passes to the next life. Send them thoughts of comfort, and comfort will heal you. Love comes naturally. Love is everything, and it lives in all of us. We are love. We are not born without it. Use it wisely, and never ask for anything back when we give love. Love will give us what we need. Love comes naturally. Spring. The hedge is sprouting out again. The thrush resumes his voice. The rainbow spans the daisied plain. The hills and woods rejoice. But on a roadside mound there sit, made up of skin and bones, and sorely plagued with coughing fits, a man breaking stones. Summer. The hedge is in its greenest suit. The thrush sings clearer still. The plain is decked with flower and fruit. The sun lights up the hill. But there upon the rubble bank, with short asthmatic groans, and slivelled hair all long and lank, the man breaking stones. Autumn. The hedges gleam with varied leaf. The thrush darts to and fro. The plain yields up the golden sheaf. The hill is all aglow. But settled down in granite seat, with weak and childish moans, and big ungainly outstretched feet, the man's breaking stones. Winter. Now stark and spare the hedges stare. The hungry thrush grows bold. The plain is bare. All's a cheerless there, the hill is black and cold. But there he sits as folks pass by, chanting in careful, cheerful tones, with purple lip and tearful eye. That man breaking stones. Moral. Perchance you pity this old man, his work will soon be o'er. Then recollect to what a goal
their moral part me so. If man for all his wicked ways in afterlife stones, 'twere will if someone had spent their days like him a breaking stones.
An old metal gate leads down a long pathway edged with bushes and large leafless trees standing to attention. The pathway runs down, and I am excited to see what has changed since I was last here. You see, we used to come here often, take the dog for a walk, have a coffee, and let the children let off some steam. But we no longer have a dog or little feet that need wearing out, so this park became redundant in our minds. But today, I want some acorns. So where am I going to get them? Well, I can buy them online. But wait, why don't we go to the park? So here we are, dogless, without small children, and having a good reason to be here. Why not, we said. There are plenty of trees in the park. There must be acorns. We approached another gate to the left. No dogs allowed, it said. Should you go in there and have a quick look? So we ventured in, as we can't remember the last time this route we took. The tiny winding pathways took us through plants and small hedges, flowers that had started to bloom, and lots of new wooden benches. The greenhouses looked like they were doing a sterling job, while beds of new flowers looked pretty and delicate. The small round-edged pond with a leafy green plant in the centre, and the small fountain was silent, waiting for the water to venture. The concrete balustrade that edged off the park of the gardens, all neat and fixed, like a work of art. Beyond this was a green leafy bank with pathways anew going this way and that. The benches and tables where people could picnic were animals carved out from the trees. Hedgehogs, foxes, pinks and spiders, all wonderfully placed to be all around us. As we walked through this enchanted garden, my mind was entranced and my vision was broadening. I realised then you do not need an excuse to enjoy all these wonderful things. It rejuvenated my mind as I drank in the nature, the smells, shapes and colours that has usually passed by my radar. Took for granted and passed by as it all seemed just there, forgotten and lost as my daily routine did not include it anymore. I realised why this was important once more. I need to feel the air and the breeze on my face, to look at the trees that have grown old with this place, the newness of flowers all starting to bud, the new life and colours my eyes make me see, and the birds and the squirrels nesting high in the trees. I came here to find acorns to put in my box, but today has given me memories to open and keep them whenever I feel at a loss.
Can everyone hear me? Cool. Okay. Happiness is the feeling of content and courage. Happiness is a fresh start, clear mind, and negativity left behind. The mind's ability to slide in such an uncertain time, in the end, it will release what's no longer needed or what drags us behind. Happiness is laughter and love, peace, acceptance, disappearing differences and separation becoming one. Happiness is what we want it to be. It's in the now. Happiness is this present time. Thank you.
Get out of bed. Come on, you can do it, I say. 1, 2, 3, and? Still I lay. I beg and I plead, you've got a run to do. I sit up, I get ready. Damn, where's my shoe? The crisp afternoon air stings my face, and with a sense of adventure, I quicken my pace. I look at the sky, pink hues galore. It feels like a time that I'd like to explore. Like when you are young and you have no fear, you live life finding so much cheer. As I run down the hill with the music I do sing, I sincerely hope this experience isn't a fling. I find in these times it's hard to find the drive, but in that moment, I felt truly alive.
Here I stand upon the start of another decade. Many challenges await me previously, which left me scared, unsure, lost, and unsure what path to follow. Yet experiences, kind or unkind, which I needed to learn notwithstanding. Will this decade find me strong enough to stand my ground to what darkens my purpose? Will this decade find me wise enough to learn from what had already altered me, so to strengthen my character? Will this decade find me adventurous enough to carry with me all I had learned, so to find what calls for me? Will this decade find me ready enough to tackle the flaws of this world? Will this decade find me prepared enough to become the person I must learn to be? The only way to answer is to travel and travel and travel until the answer steps in my path. A crisis is only a bout of rainy weathers. The sun eventually returns to dry up the mess.
In my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice that I've been turning over in my mind ever since. Whenever you feel like criticising anyone, he told me, just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the advantages that you've had.
What you see, you think you see, you don't see what you think you see.
Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms further, and one fine morning, so we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past.
Lockdown. Yet another lockdown? What's that all about? Most people continue to stay in, but too many are still going out. Can't we devise a new word or phrase for this situation that's pretty worldwide, that doesn't invoke the image of a prison, that psychologically makes us feel good inside? What about safe haven or even safety zone? To put these lockdowns in a positive spin. Are there any psychologists out there with suggestions to make us feel that it's more a win-win? Unity has been broken in pieces. The UK has fractured its borders. Different rules on different sides, but each a nation of toilet roll hoarders. Christmas and New Year came and went in a daze of last-minute change, where family plans went from A, then to B, then to C, the festivities completely rearranged. The start of the year brought new hope, which was almost instantly dashed. Thanks to a brand new variant, the rules were hastily rehashed. Thank goodness jabs were pre-ordered. Now vaccinations are finally approved. But who decided who's getting it when? Could the rollout be massively improved? Forward planning is difficult, I'm sure, when dealing with an unknown disease. Firefighting seems the new normal reaction. But I've heard the army could administer with ease. Tolerance and patience are in short supply, as well as much needed hospital beds. The NHS is under continued pressure and strain. Clapping this time isn't going to help all those meds. And when all the vaccines are finally administered, will complacency begin to set in? Will people decide to stop wearing their masks alongside common sense? Will they get thrown in the bin? Homeschooling has added another stress layer to parents, so many working from home. Not enough space, broadband speed or technology. Some students having to do work on their phone. The economy is being shot to pieces. Borrowing has gone through the roof. Jobs are being lost left, right and centre. What future will be there for our youth? Well, that's all the gloom and the doom, so I'd like to conclude on a more positive note. For those who wanted to leave the EU, they've had the outcome desired for their vote. But that's just over half the population. The other half really wanted to stay. Nobody really knew what the consequences would be. Time will tell, perhaps, is the correct phrase for today. I'd like to offer, though, some positive advice that I hope will help you continue to get through. Take each day as it comes, live in the here and the now. Breathe deeply and to your own heart stay true. Try not to get engulfed in all the negative. Turn off the news, ditch the papers, read a book. Dance, sing, walk and smile often. Get out in nature and take a long look. Because despite us treating it with contempt, the beauty of our planet surrounds us and is free. So be thankful for all that we already have and strive to be the best human being you can be.
I prepared chestnut stuffing for the first time 50 years ago. A child determined to be a better cook than you, Mother. You slipped unawares into waking dawn, bearing lost memories with you. Young, she tugged my apron strings. Now, she tugs my heart. Soon, she will give birth. Deep curve of the bay, wind sweeps breaking waves, Hebe blooms impervious. Live in the here and now. Sit in expectant stillness. Hear resounding silence. Her labour begins. I sip chamomile, knit in expectant silence. Text message received 6th January, 0105 hours. As of 22:50, you have a beautiful £6 14-ounce granddaughter. It was all very quick, and everyone is very healthy. Green spirits sheltered 12 days. Now turf them out. Rough grass, golden fleck, male blue tit alights, ritual feast for spring plumage. Still growing on old apple tree, mistletoe. And then Annie replied, seed shot from plump white berries, male fertility. And then I thought about that one for a while and replied, soggy cornflakes, skeletal oak leaves, sprouting acorn. And then Annie's response was, returning food to source, another planted oak, forgetful squirrel. And then I came up with recycled yogurt pots bird feeder, disappears, flap of crow's wings. And then the last one so far comes from Annie, and I think it's the most beautiful one yet, actually. Holding onto a handrail, drops of water in suspense, ice on ice.
I met 2 escapee chickens on my walk today as I made my tortuous way uphill on wonky knees. Fluffy brown hens they were, with proud red coxcombs atop each nodding head. They were intent, looking straight ahead, one pale, adventurous foot in front of the other, delicately placed. It's difficult to know what tempted them through the thicket away from the lush green pastures and safety, onto hard and gritty asphalt, strewn with stones and churned up mud. Thin pickings lined the route, dried and muddy foliage, but they showed no interest, continuing downhill in determined fashion. My only conclusion, that from time to time, even chickens can heed adventure's call, and give in to the lure of freedom. My morning visitor. A squirrel came visiting my early morning reverie. She crossed the patio, flowing in soft, gentle waves, and suddenly she stopped. A sound, a movement, who knows what. But taunt and bolt upright she paused, liquid eyes bright as she assessed and waited, elegantly poised for flight, a swift getaway. Her quivering nostrils tasted the air for danger. For a while we were still, my squirrel and I, frozen in a timeless moment for the threat to pass. Then, satisfied, she continued on her graceful way, fluid and nimble. She disappeared around a bend. We had met before on another still morning, when making my clumsy way through shrubs, noisy even on a grassy path, I startled her, interrupted her pilfered meal meant for birds. In an instant she was off, leaping effortlessly from tree to tree, lithe as any acrobat, weaving through branches in a wild commotion. She scattered leaves high in the sunlit air, and then, quite suddenly, she was gone.
I am the reindeer, thundering the hungry tundra, blundering into the thickness of the blizzard, under an oblivion of white. Snowbirds hurtle, slash and scream until the blind wind bleeds my ears of sound. The Arctic sky scorches my brain. Lights flash, green, extravagant, shift into violet, ambivalent, delusional, malevolent. I am steadied by the North Star as magnet to steel. My blood beats warm and timeless. My shamanic lungs surge as I lunge to leap the gap between worlds. Groundless my hooves lift, and I soar into the starving mouth of the night. This girl child clings to my neck, thin arms around my bellowing throat, feet black with the kiss of frost. She is weary with relentless travelling, and tireless with the hope of her journey. I must bear her to the Snow Queen's ice palace, the glacial lake, the frozen mirror, broken, glittering, tricking, to find her solitary brother, silent, geometric, locked in abstraction, fragmented in the hostility of eternal winter, and melts the glass splinter in his eye, his heart with her tears. What is this thing come tumbling into the dark, thudding on the soft leaves at the bottom of my heart? Quick, hold it up to the light of the far-away pinhole sky. We need to see the colour of its eyes. I was not expecting this visitor, yet am not resisting the recognition in its vision. If you sing, I will know who you are. When you sing, I will know who I am. Are we fragments of your sleeping fantasies, or tree roots that dream of the breeze? Old bones reincarnating in this underground dawn. But this is not your place to stay, nor my place to keep you here. Transitory sister, borrowed brother, found and lost child, rebirthing in reverse, burrowing and rabbit-holed. You will follow the lolloping lapine into the blind-limbed labyrinths, and leave by the small door I had not seen before. Eat me, drink me, meet me, think of me no more.